So this is a pretty common triangle we're used to seeing with trig. And we know that our trig ratios give us that cosine is x over r and sine is y over r. We also know that using the Pythagorean theorem, we would have x squared plus y squared is r squared. If we go through that Pythagorean theorem and we divide everything through by r squared, we get cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1. And that's our first Pythagorean identity. We usually like to write that as sine squared plus cosine squared is 1 because, we mathematicians are a little bit particular about stuff. So that is our first Pythagorean identity. And that one's pretty easy to remember. We use that one the most. If we take that first one and we divide everything through by sine squared, we get 1 plus cotangent squared is cosecant squared. That one is our second Pythagorean identity. If we take the sine squared plus cosine squared is 1 and divide everything through by cosine squared, we get tangent squared plus 1 is secant squared. Now this one I rearrange to be 1 plus tangent squared is secant squared, and you'll see why in just a second. So like I said a minute ago, sine squared plus cosine squared is 1 is pretty easy to remember. And I know we have a formula sheet that we can look at for the other two, but it's easier if you kind of have it in your head and you don't have to search for it every time. So I have a silly way to remember the other two. For the 1 plus cotangent squared, I remember the little mnemonic device, I love cottage cheese. And for the 1 plus tangent squared, that one is I love tangerine sections. The other thing that I want to point out is if I have my regular sine squared plus cosine squared is 1, I can rearrange that to make some other identities that are also true. I could move this cosine squared to the other side, or rather subtract cosine squared from both sides and get that sine squared is 1 minus cosine squared. Or I could subtract the sine squared from both sides and get that cosine squared is 1 minus sine squared. And we could do the exact same thing for the I love cottage cheese and I love tangerine sections. So when you're simplifying expressions or proving identities, always be aware when you see a squared and when you see it in the partner that it might need, and think about these Pythagorean identities.